We had an earlier video where we talked about why your team drafted a quarterback bust. And we talked about in that video how the template that people have looked for to scout and evaluate quarterbacks is fracturing. And right now, people are just running in every direction trying to figure out what makes sense. That is being proven on the wide scale here this draft season because we can't even agree anymore what pro style is. And if you're listening to different sources, they're just spinning a wheel and picking a quarterback and deciding that one's the most ready for the NFL. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no discernible line of logic. And this has allowed people to say things like Mac Jones is more pro-ready than Trey Lance. Now I know, Trey Lance is raw. Trey Lance is from a D1A school. Mac Jones played a national championship. He's running Shanahan's offense. That's just not true. You go back 10 years and you look at what makes a quarterback pro-ready. And it's rhythm, timing, progressions, having the verbiage of an NFL system, going under center and having all the footwork down. And if you look at the offenses that the top 5 quarterbacks play in, there is absolutely no question that the most pro-ready by the old standards is Trey Lance. And surprisingly enough, the least pro-ready by the old standards is Trevor Lawrence. He's running an offense that powerhouse high schools run at the college level. The transition from his offense that he runs there to what he will run in the NFL is a huge leap. Ton of responsibility will be heaped on top of him that he didn't have to deal with in college. But the two offenses that most similarly represent an NFL offense out of these top 5 quarterbacks is BYU and North Dakota State. And the advantage goes to North Dakota State because Trey Lance is coming to the line of scrimmage with multiple plays, killing plays, and choosing plays at the line of scrimmage. His responsibilities at the line of scrimmage mentally are higher than any other quarterback in the top 5. So when you look at the quarterbacks and how the old standard would have graded them, 2 jump to the front of the line. It would be Trey Lance and it would be Zach Wilson for playing in a system that is closely resembling an NFL offense, having responsibilities at the line of scrimmage, and having all of the different rhythm, timing, progression, footwork elements already built into their game. But other people like to look at it based on experience. How many games have you played? And 2 quarterbacks jump to the forefront of this class without shadow of a doubt on experience, and that's Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Believe it or not, people are calling Zach Wilson a one-year wonder, and he has the second most college starts of any quarterback in the top 5. Yet they're calling him a one-year wonder. That doesn't make any sense. You look at Mac Jones and you look at Trey Lance. Both quarterbacks played in a national championship game. Both quarterbacks started 17 games in college. So how is Mac Jones more pro-ready based on experience than Trey Lance? Oh, right, because one played in the SEC on a team that was better than absolutely everybody he played against, just like Trey Lance, who played in D1A on a team that was better than absolutely everybody they played against. But none of these factors are things we actually scout. You don't scout the system. That's how you miss Mahomes and how you miss Aaron Rodgers coming out of Tedford. You don't scout the helmet. You don't scout the conference. So what do you scout? Well, there are 2 sets of traits that help a quarterback adapt to the NFL very quickly. On the mental side of the game, you have anticipation and tempo. These are the traits where Mac Jones wins in this class. So it's easy to see where people are just jumping that I have the highest anticipation quarterback in the class. I have the best tempo, poise, decision-making, processing speed quarterback in the class, so it must be Mac Jones. Well, that would be flying in the face of recent history. In 2020, who was the best mental traits quarterback? Joe Burrow. Who won Rookie of the Year? Justin Herbert. In 2018, between Rosen, Darnold, and Baker, who was the better quarterback? Well, it was Baker. And then as soon as Lamar hit the field, who was the best quarterback? Well, it was Lamar. There's a trend going on, and it's been something we've been pointing to since 2013. It's that mental traits take time to adjust to the NFL game, and physical traits adjust immediately. And who is the worst physical traits quarterback in the top 5? Well, it's Mac Jones. On the higher end, you have Fields, you have Wilson, you have Lawrence, and you have Trey Lance. All 3 all four have really high positives. Trey Lance, best arm talent, really good mobility. Justin Fields, lower grading on the arm talent, but 4.4 speed. We have 4 quarterbacks in this draft with plus arm talent. We have 2 quarterbacks in this draft with plus mobility, and Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are no slouch in that area. Mac Jones is decidedly the least athletic tools quarterback in this draft. And recent history has pointed to mental traits do not transition to the NFL quickly. Physical traits do, because the chaos of the game is something you have to navigate with a positive physical trait that adapts immediately. And there's one recent outlier, Josh Allen. Huge arm talent, good athleticism. Why was he such a struggle in his first year? Well, the reason for that is that when he was in his last year of college, a North Dakota State quarterback coach went over to coach Wyoming, and he couldn't grasp that offense. Trey Lance did. Trey Lance has grasped that offense just fine. That means that Trey Lance is far more mentally prepared for the NFL than Josh Allen was when he came in out of college. Now, let's not discount the jump that it takes from D1A to the NFL. It's going to be a hurdle. But when you look at the quarterbacks who are most pro-ready, who are ready to step on the field and contribute day one, it's Zach Wilson, day one. And behind that is actually Trey Lance. He has the mental game that is sufficient to hold serve and the physical attributes that can make him survive. The only reason why Zach Wilson grades ahead of him is because the mental traits with the anticipation and the tempo are actually high grading as well. So he has that a little bit of everything plus. Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence come in 3rd and 4th because Trevor Lawrence's adjustment from a high school offense to a pro offense is going to be very difficult. And Justin Fields has so many limitations with visibility when it comes to attacking college open windows that the pro game is going to be extremely fast. You're going to want to simplify things. But if you let him live on his tools like the Chargers let Justin Herbert live on his tools, you could see better results from Justin Fields than Trevor Lawrence in year one. But when you drop a mental traits quarterback into the NFL, year one is not their year. And that's Mac Jones. Look at the struggles of Burrow last year. Look at the struggles of Tua last year. That's Mac Jones. Mac Jones has a lesser grading arm talent and mobility than both of those players. And the common trend with players like that is that you don't see them adjust until year 2. You don't see who they are until year 3. This means that Jimmy Garoppolo, if San Francisco takes Mac Jones, will be the best quarterback in San Francisco this year. That means next year, Trey Lance will be ready to go, and Mac Jones will be settling in. And we won't be able to grade Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields versus Mac Jones truthfully until year 3. When your skills are on the mental side of the game, you have to master the offense. You have to understand what defenses are doing to you. You have to build chemistry with your wide receivers so you have the rhythm and timing that you can go to. That's where you thrive. That is the hardest adjustment in the NFL. The quarterbacks with the arm talent and the mobility. From Dak Prescott outperforming Wentz and Goff year 1 to Justin Herbert outperforming the field in 2020. The recent trend, 16 through 20, has been that the best physical traits day 1 are what you can hang your hat on. And physical traits is just not what Mac Jones has. In fact, the comp that I have that is most similar to Mac Jones is a poor man's Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers, years ago started his NFL career and never played a game until his 3rd year. And if recent history tells us anything, it's that you can't force a mental trait quarterback into the starting lineup early. You have to give them time to settle in, master the offense, and get the areas of the game where they gain up to the NFL speed. So if anybody's telling you Mac Jones is the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft, arguably he's the least of the top 5. Zach Wilson, 1. Then the debate starts. How do you use Justin Fields? How do you use Trevor Lawrence? How do you use Trey Lance? but my money right now is on Trey Lance, despite coming from D1A. Love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side.